this episode of the Mize Breakroom. My name is Marc Swearengin, Director of Business Development here at Mize CPAs, and I'm thrilled to be joined with my friends and colleagues, Brandon Mills, who is our manager of our state and local tax department, and Rey Spencer, who's our relationship manager in charge of our WOTC specific practice. So welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today. What we're here to talk about today is WOTC. And so I'm going to kind of let them explain what that is. Why don't we just jump into what is WOTC?
So WOTC is a federal tax program, and it's really kind of an incentive to employers to kind of hire these employees that, or certain target groups that might have face barriers to getting back into the workforce. Some of these for example, might be convicted felons, maybe somebody that's been on long-term unemployment, or another popular one is food stamps or SNAP benefits. And so certain along those target groups, and it's just an incentive for these employers to seek them out and give them an opportunity to get back in the workforce.
What does WOTC stand for?
It stands for Work Opportunity Tax Credit.
Tell me about the process. It sounds like an important thing for them. What is that process? If employers wanted to take advantage of that, what does that look like for them? What's that process?
So the first step is getting them to complete the application. There's two forms. The first one is known as the 8850 pre-screening form, and that's completed by the employee as well as the employer. And that is submitted along with also the what's known as the 9061 ICF form, or individual characteristics form. That's filled out by the employer. They take that application, they submit those to the state workforce agency. So given whatever state you might be in, you'll submit it to them. There's a 28-day deadline from the date of hire that has to get submitted, and once that's received by the state, they will in turn process that application. They may request additional information or quickly process and make a determination. They'll either deny that application or certify it. And if it's then certified, our team takes those certifications. We pull those letters out of our state accounts, our portals that we have set up, and we'll collect those over the year, kind of update. We have a report that we provide to the clients. We'll update the status on those reports. And at the end of the year, we'll calculate the credits. We'll need payroll reports for that given year, or anybody that, based on their date of hire. It's all relative to their first year of employment. So we'll take payroll reports and apply it to that certified employee. And at that point, we'll get an idea of how many credits, potential credits that they might be available to, or what the employer is entitled to claim. That is filed with their end of year returns. It's the form, the 5884 form, and that's filed with their annual business returns at the end of the year. And they're eligible to claim those credits at that point.
How long does it take a state? Are all states the same? What does it take to hear back from states on that? What's their experience like that? I can see that.
That's a great question. I wish they were all the same. I think a lot of people are very familiar with how state agencies work. The people that do work in there, they're very lovely people, and I know they're working hard. But turnaround times can vary. Some states can process applications in a few days, could be a couple days. Some states have a very serious backlog of applications that are still years behind. So, but they are working to address those issues. They're aware of it, and they're doing the best they can.
But it sounds like our team, the team that you have working with, kind of keeps up on those, right? So in the event that it's taking a long time, we keep up on that to make sure that none of our clients lose those credits. Is that correct? Or
correct. And we also try to do is communicate as much as possible. So as soon as we know there's a state that's behind, or maybe they've made some changes in their system, and that's just putting more strain on their team, they're pretty good about communicating that with a lot of the agents. We in turn will then reach out to our clients to notify them. A recent example being Montana. They have updated their system and haven't issued any determinations this year, but we've been sure to keep our Montana clients up to speed on that.
Gentlemen, tell me a little bit about how WTC is integrated with the other services that we do here at Mize.
It's integrated with our payroll. They use 2.0. And once a new hire comes through, they go through that onboarding process, and then we process that application. Once that comes back, we send that over to the Mize tax team at that point where they start preparing that.
What happens once we get it into the tax team there, Brandon?
Well, the tax preparer will take that and they'll use that. Then they'll use those forms to calculate the credit on your income tax returns. So if you're a Mize tax client, you won't have to have any involvement in the process whatsoever. It'll just be all done for you.
Great. So literally, an employee gets hired, and for people that are utilizing the Mize services, the next thing they'll know is they will see a tax credit on their tax form.
Yeah, they'll see a
and
tax credit
that's all they
the
need
next
to see.
year, and that's it.
Again, pretty much hands off for our clients, and you never want to say free money, but it's money that's available to them, and they don't really have to spend any effort doing that.
Yes, that is correct.
Great. Why is this program so important for particularly restaurant owners?
I mean, it's money on the table, and if we can kind of handle that for them, again, from start to finish, you're kind of just sitting back, you're hiring already as it is. And if you're hiring a lot of employees throughout the year, it's potential money, you're not losing anything. And if you're kind of strapped for cash, I know there's a lot of restaurant owners this year that are concerned about some of the cash flow coming in through their restaurants. This could be an easy way to kind of offset some of that pain that they might be feeling.
Yeah, even with we're seeing maybe a slight decrease in turnover. Most of our restaurant owners are still seeing 100% turnover a year. So it seems like important for them to make sure they're capturing all those people because every single hour of potentially work could save them money. Is that correct?
Oh yeah, the moment they're hired, they get that form. It's signed, it's completed. They can't, in our system, the way we have it set up, they can't even complete their I-9 without completing that application. So you're capturing every new hire with this form, assuming again they're using I-9 services.
You mentioned earlier about each state taking different time and all that. It sounds like each state might have its different process. So maybe what have we done here at Mize to make sure that becomes easy for clients when you have 50 states that might be doing something differently and how they submit them and all that. So maybe talk a little bit about the technology that how we utilize technology to make this process smooth for our clients.
We're pretty fortunate. We have a pretty amazing IT team that is quick to make any sort of changes that come up. A lot of states have had to update their servers. There's been a new form that was issued by the Department of Labor. Our IT team quickly made those accommodations, made those changes that were needed. So there's minimum, if any, disruption to that whole process. But thankfully, most states have what they refer to as like a bulk application upload, and our system just generates a file based on those requirements handed to us by the state workforce agency. We download that file, upload it to the state, and it's as simple as that. There are a few that do require mailing in applications. They're still a bit old school. Those are ones we see a lot of kind of a delay in getting those turned around because they have to go, they receive them through the mail, then they're having to manually enter those into their system and then process the application. So if you have 2-3 people working on a team, you're receiving thousands of applications a week for a state agency. That's a heavy workload.
It sounds like we've taken a lot of the work out of our clients' hands. And so really, once they kind of get this process going with Mize, there's not much. Is there much that they need to do? Do owner operators need to do that? Is there a lot of need from them once you have everything up and running for them?
When I hear a client tell me that it's Mize payroll and a Mize tax as well, income tax client, I'm smiling ear to ear because it's as hands off as it needs to be. If they're using onboarding services through Mize, it's typically just a link that the employee fills out, and they go through that process. They fill out the form. If they answer yes, we'll submit it. But it's pretty hands off. It's the only thing I would think that they need to do is really just sign. It's the ETA 9198 form. It's the representative declaration form that allows Mize to act as the agent for WTC matters. And once they sign that, they can just sit back and manage the important affairs of running a restaurant. Yeah.
Good point for our owners to realize that once you get this, it's very easy to kind of get this going from what it sounds. And then, but those tax credits are very important, right? At the end of the year, all these tax credits, and I know, Brandon, we're looking at, how there's WTC, but other tax credits these states are starting to offer. And I know that your department's looking at how can we find some of these other opportunities for clients, because it is money that's available to them with that, they don't have to necessarily invest anything else, but they should be taking advantage of those credits.
Yeah, that is correct. We've identified some other states that we're working on that have some additional credits out there, and we're kind of tacking these on to the WOTC process. So when we have a client that signs up for income tax, they're getting the most credits that they could possibly get.
I think that's great. I think, again, another part of being part of this team, this WTC team seems just integrated in everything going on. Right. And we look at how we manage our clients, right? We have relationship managers that look across the spectrum of that. And this is an important part of that. We hear every year. I know, Ray, your team, probably the first quarter of the year is a pretty busy team, and with a lot going on. But a lot of stuff that our clients don't necessarily see, but that benefits that they're getting from that. How easy is it? What's the onboarding experience? If someone wants to say, hey, I want to take advantage of this, what's that process like? How fast can a client get going?
Pretty quick. If they're WTC only, it doesn't take much. It's just adding one form into what we call a template into their onboarding. And honestly, it's just getting that whole setup, just getting that form set up, getting their account set up. I would be shocked if it takes more than a day to really kind of get all that set up. If everything's lined up, once it goes, and I don't want to be held to one day, but it could be as quick as such. It all depends. Again, it's a collaborative effort, so how easily everyone can be available to work with each other. But Mize is definitely, I know they have a great onboarding team over there on the payroll side, and they're cranking them out pretty quick. I've seen them get some of these clients set up next day.
Great. I think the point is, I think that's great. It's easy to get started. It doesn't take much of your effort. And I think even, I would suggest any of our clients that are doing that, even if you're doing that right now, you should probably contact this team and see, are you getting the best out of that? I think the team here has done a great job of maximizing those credits. And certainly we would love to hear from you. And we could even provide a, analysis of what you've got right now. And if there's any changes we would recommend coming over to our team. So, well, Brandon, Ray, I appreciate that. Extremely helpful for our clients. Appreciate you spending some time with us today. Ray from Austin, Texas, and here in Topeka with Brandon. So
it's been great. Feels a little bit warmer in this break room than it does currently right now outside.
Yes,
Austin,
it does.
So I'll take it.
All right. If you have any questions, if you want to find us more information, you can certainly reach out to myself or Brandon or Ray, or you can reach us at Mize Breakroom at MizeCPAs.com, and someone will get in touch with you about our program. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you, and join us for the next episode. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Mize Breakroom. If you watch this episode on YouTube, please like and subscribe so you never miss another episode. You can find the Mize Breakroom anywhere you can find podcasts. If you like what you heard, please rate and review the podcast 5 stars. Looking for more information? You can find us on most social media platforms at Mize CPAs. Thanks for listening, and see you next time in the Breakroom. The Mize Breakroom is produced by Mize CPAs and hosted by Marc Swearengin. Mize CPAs is not a law firm and does not provide legal advice. The information shared in this podcast is for general information purposes only and is not intended to constitute legal or technical accounting, tax, consulting, and/or professional advice that may apply to your specific business. The listener is encouraged to consult counsel and or their accountant before making decisions or taking any action concerning the matters in this communication to address the recipient's particular facts, circumstances, position, business considerations, or other unique relevant matters, as well as to evaluate any applicable federal, state, or local laws.